Cassandra had not asked for the gift of sight. As a child in the coastal town of Epidaurus, known for its healing temple to Asclepius, she had been ordinary the daughter of a fisherman and a midwife, destined for a simple life. That was before the fever took her at 12 years of age, burning so hot that her parents had carried her unconscious form to the temple as a last resort. For 3 days, she had lingered between life and death while priests performed healing rituals. On the 4th day, she awoke cured but forever changed. The priests called it a blessing from the gods. Cassandra called it a curse. The visions came without warning flashes of events yet to unfold, disasters she could not prevent, deaths she could not stop. When she spoke of what she saw, most dismissed her as touched in the head. Those who didn't found her predictions disturbing enough to avoid her entirely. By 17, she lived alone in a small hut outside the town, surviving by selling medicinal herbs and occasionally providing cryptic guidance to desperate travelers brave enough to seek her out. The solitude suited her. At least alone, she didn't have to see the fear in people's eyes when the visions took her. It was on a moonless night, exactly 1 week after the end of the Demon War, that the most terrible vision yet came to her. Cassandra had been gathering night-blooming jasmine when pain lanced through her skull. She fell to her knees as the world around her dissolved, replaced by scenes of such clarity and horror that she couldn't even scream. The Underworld throne room stretched before her, its black marble floor reflecting green flames that burned in braziers of human bone. Upon the obsidian throne sat Hades himself, not the fearsome yet just ruler of myth, but a being consumed by rage, his once handsome face half melted like wax left too near flame. Before him knelt a procession of shadowy figures, the spirits of fallen gods, minor deities who had perished in the recent wars. Their forms flickered between corporeality and mist as they struggled to maintain shape in death. Is this how he rewards loyalty? Hades bellowed, his voice causing fissures to spread across the throne room floor. My brother calls for aid against the demons, and when I answer, when I leave my realm to fight at his side, he betrays me? A spirit dared to speak. Lord Hades, perhaps there was no betrayal. In the chaos of battle, Hades rose from his throne, and the spirit disintegrated into nothing, not merely banished but unmade, its very essence scattered beyond recovery. Do not insult me with excuses, Hades hissed to the remaining spirits. I saw Zeus direct the fatal blow that scarred me. He waited until Seraphim was defeated, until the threat was contained, and then he struck not at our enemy, but at me. He touched the ruined half of his face, fingers tracing the melted flesh. My own brother feared that I had grown too powerful during the war, that the souls of demons might shift the balance between our realms. Hades returned to his throne, his rage cooling into something more controlled, yet infinitely more dangerous. But he miscalculated. The blow that was meant to destroy me merely wounded my physical form, and now I sit in the one realm he cannot reach, surrounded by the dead of countless ages, including many who hold grudges against Olympus. With a gesture, Hades summoned new figures into the throne room, ancient spirits whose forms were more substantial, more powerful. Titans. Not the great titans of legend who had battled Zeus directly, but their children and servants, lesser titans who had been swept into the underworld during the first divine war. My brother believes the titans safely imprisoned or scattered, Hades said. He doesn't realize how many of their kind passed through my domain, how many chose to remain rather than face eternal torture in Tartarus. One of the Titan spirits stepped forward, a female form of unsettling beauty, her skin like polished onyx, eyes gleaming with starlight. The time of waiting nears its end, Lord of the Dead, she said. The fragments stir, the vessels awaken. Yes, Hades agreed. I have felt the disturbances. A demigod commanding lightning. A mortal bonded with Hyperion's essence. Seraphim's partial return. The barriers between realms grow thin. The prophecy unfolds, the Titan spirit continued. When god blood, Titan blood, and demon blood converge beneath the full moon at the Oracle Sanctuary, the keys to the great prison will manifest. The question remains, who will claim them? Hades smiled, the expression grotesque on his damaged face. Neither my brother nor Seraphim will claim this power. The keys will come to me, delivered by one who sees beyond the veils. His gaze suddenly shifted, looking directly at Cassandra's perspective, as if he could perceive her astral presence witnessing this scene. Yes, little seer, he said softly, I speak of you. Cassandra returned to her body with a violent gasp, finding herself collapsed among the jasmine flowers. Cold sweat covered her skin despite the warm night. She trembled uncontrollably, not just from the vision's intensity, but from the terrifying knowledge that Hades had somehow sensed her watching. "It's not possible," she whispered to herself, gathering her scattered herbs with shaking hands. "The gods cannot touch mortal seers. That is the ancient law." But even as she said it, she knew this was different. The rules that had governed the divine world for millennia were changing. The demon war had damaged more than just the physical realm, had weakened the very foundations of cosmic order. She had to warn someone, but who would believe her? Who could even stand against Hades if her vision proved true? The Oracle. The thought came suddenly, with a clarity that suggested it was not entirely her own. The Oracle of Delphi, the one true seer acknowledged by all gods and mortals alike. If anyone could interpret her vision and know what to do, it would be the Oracle. Cassandra returned to her hut and packed quickly a change of clothes, dried provisions, her herbs, and the small savings she had accumulated over the years. The journey to Delphi would be long and dangerous for a woman traveling alone, especially with demonic remnants and bandits plaguing the roads since the war. As she prepared to leave, a soft hissing sound made her freeze. In the corner of her hut, shadows deepened unnaturally, swirling and condensing until they formed a small serpent made entirely of darkness. Its eyes glowed with green underworld fire. "He sends his regards, little seer." The shadow serpent spoke in a voice like gravel. "My master says you may run to the Oracle if you wish. In fact, he encourages it. She too plays a role in what is to come." "What does Hades want from me?" Cassandra demanded, her fear giving way to indignation. "I'm nothing a minor seer in a forgotten town." The serpent laughed, a dry sound like dead leaves scraping stone. "You are far more than you realize. The blood that gives you sight is not entirely mortal. Why do you think the visions come so clearly to you? Why do you think you alone witnessed my master's counsel?" "You're lying," Cassandra whispered, though doubt crept into her voice. Her mother had never spoken of her father, claiming only that he had been a traveler who continued his journey before Cassandra's birth. "Seek the Oracle if you wish confirmation," the serpent replied. "But know this, my master will be watching. When the time comes, you will deliver the keys to him, willingly or not. The blood in your veins ensures it." The serpent dissolved back into shadow, leaving Cassandra alone with this new, terrible possibility. Was her gift not a random blessing from the gods as the priests had claimed? Was it inheritance? Dawn found her already miles from Epidaurus, traveling the coastal road toward Delphi. She avoided other travelers, kept to the shadows when passing through villages, and slept in hidden places off the main paths. Still, she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched not just by Hades' servants, but by other forces as well. On the third day of her journey, she crested a hill and spotted a figure on the road ahead, a woman with vibrant red hair wearing a traveler's cloak. Something about her set off warnings in Cassandra's mind, an instinctive sense of danger that made her duck into the brush beside the road. The woman stopped exactly where Cassandra had left the path, her head tilting as she scented the air like a predator. When she turned slightly, Cassandra glimpsed what appeared to be scales along the side of her neck, disappearing beneath her cloak. "I know you're there, little prophet," the woman called out, her voice carrying an unnatural resonance. "I can smell the divine blood in you, diluted though it may be." Cassandra remained silent, pressing herself against the earth. "No matter," the woman continued. "We're bound for the same destination, it seems. Perhaps we'll become better acquainted at the Oracle's sanctuary." She smiled, revealing teeth that came to subtle points. "I am Ceres. Remember the name. We'll meet again when the moon is full." With that, the woman continued down the road, moving with a grace that seemed almost inhuman. Cassandra waited until she was well out of sight before emerging, her mind racing. How many players were converging on the Oracle? And what was this talk of keys and a great prison? That night, as she made camp in a small cave overlooking the sea, Cassandra was granted another vision briefer than before, but no less disturbing. A young man with eyes that flashed like lightning faced another whose veins glowed with golden light. Between them stood a woman fully transformed into a demon, her wings spread wide. Above them all, the full moon illuminated an ancient temple where the Oracle waited, her blind eyes somehow seeing the three ethereal keys that materialized from their convergence. And in the shadows beyond perception, forces gathered Hades' agents, Zeus's sentinels, Hera's spies, and something older still, something that had slumbered since before the first Titanomachy. Cassandra came back to herself with a gasp. The vision confirmed what she already suspected she was, but one thread in a tapestry being woven by forces beyond her comprehension. Yet something about her was important enough that Hades himself had taken notice. What connection did she have to this great prison and its keys? And more importantly, whose blood ran in her veins that gave her the power to see these things? As she settled into an uneasy sleep, one final image flashed through her mind, a symbol etched into black stone. 3 interlocking circles, each containing a different emblem. One held a lightning bolt, another a crown of flames, and the third a horned skull. Below them was written a single word in ancient script: convergence. Far below the earth, in chambers untouched by sunlight for eons, something ancient stirred in response to the growing tension in the world above. Chains forged before humanity existed groaned under sudden strain. A prison built to last eternity began to show the first hairline fractures in its foundations. The board was set, the pieces were moving, and the player who had been imprisoned since the dawn of creation sensed the approaching opportunity for freedom. To be continued.